So this video started off as something else entirely. I was originally going to piggyback off my last two videos talking about toxicity in the Critical Role fandom. I was going to try and talk about the hate Marisha gets and where all that stems from, but then something else happened and that hit a lot closer to home, and when I started writing, this is what came out. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you that I actually started scripting these things. So while I was scrolling down TikTok, because yes, I'm down with the kids, while I was scrolling down TikTok, I stumbled across a bunch of videos that got me thinking. A couple were from cosplayers saying that they lack the self-confidence, either body-wise or attitude-wise or whatever it was, to cosplay certain characters that they really liked. They felt they either didn't look canon enough or accurate, or that they just weren't right for the character. They spoke about not feeling worthy to play the characters that they love because of how they look. Another bunch of videos that I found were cosplayers responding to comments that they'd got on different videos they'd posted in various costumes. They'd have people saying things like, such and such cosplays that character better, or that character is so basic, or there's already so many of this character, there's too much, why are you doing this too? And a bunch of other things like that. I've also seen cosplayers complaining about one another, saying various different things and complaining sometimes that other cosplayers have started doing the same character as them. So I was watching this content and I found myself really wanting to talk about it, so here we are. Alrighty, so when I do this video, I want it to reflect who I am, the person I try to be every single day, a positive force in the world. So I'm going to talk about some negative things, but the overall tone of this video is encouraging and hopefully optimistic, I promise. And if you've ever felt jealous or unsure of yourself, then please stick around and watch. First up, I think it's really important that I come clean myself. I have, and still occasionally do, feel all those things I just mentioned myself. I get insecure, I get jealous. And the real fun bit is that they tend to feed into each other. So I start feeling down on myself, and then I see something that makes me jealous, which makes me feel even worse about myself, which means that the next time I see something, I feel even more jealous, and so the really fun spiral continues. Yeah, you might relate. Now, I am not a therapist. I am not very good at advice. Usually I am that person in the group who tends to laugh or make a sarcastic comment rather than actually talk about something that's important or, you know, actually difficult. But I have been working on ways to pull myself out of the negative headspaces I get into, and I kind of wanted to share those because I know how much it must suck for other people who find themselves down in that pit themselves, and maybe hopefully we can sort of help each other out. Alright, so starting off with the real fun one, jealousy. Yeah, it's not fun. I think the worst thing about jealousy is that it only really hurts the person who's feeling it. It eats away at you like acid damage until you're just left the bones of what used to be a person. Now, I want you to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with feeling jealous. Jealousy is just a reaction. It's a feeling, and you can't control feelings. So please don't think that you are somehow a terrible person just because you get jealous sometimes. I find that feeling jealous is just your way of acknowledging something that you want. You recognise that you want something similar to what you're seeing. In terms of cosplay, maybe you want a costume that's as good as this person's, or maybe you want to be as good at acting, maybe you want as big a following as they've got. You get the idea. For me, honestly, I kind of get jealous whenever I see anybody else posting work in progress pictures and videos of their Molly coat. When I see someone cosplayed and dressed up as Molly or Lucian. That is when I get smacked in the face with a great big hand of green eyes. Especially if they're in the cosplay gallery or like being promoted on different places and they're being hyped up. Mini story time. So I am now on my 4th Molly coat. Because I love him and it's an ongoing project, I will never be finished. But basically, my 4th coat that I'm working on now is a culmination of all the other ones put together. I've finally decided what I like best from each of them, and I began work on it like just under a year ago. When I just started work on it and barely anything was done, I just started putting together the ideas and sewn the first few things. I saw a professional costume maker post online pictures of their Mollymauk coat that they had just finished, and it was stunning. I mean, they're all stunning. Every cosplay is stunning, but this coat was beautiful. And do you know what I did? I closed all my social media, put on my angriest music, and refused to touch my coat for like at least a week. I thought there is no point in attempting to do anything to do with the character that I love so much because someone else is doing it better. I thought, what is the point of trying? What is the point of doing this? I'm never going to be that good. They're going to get more attention. Why bother? And do you know what that achieved? Yeah, nothing. I felt like rubbish. I got consumed in this jealous, self-loathing spiral because I can't sew like that. No one will ever care about the content that I put out when there's other Mollys like that in the world. Compare, compare, compare. Yeah, it wasn't fun. So all of that bled into more and more self-doubt, and all I could think about was just how rubbish I must be in comparison. I thought how far below all these other cosplayers and costume makers I was. I only started trying to sew 4 years ago now. I felt and still do feel that I am just so far behind like the rest of the world in this community. There are people who studied this, there are people who work in theatre, there are people who have been just sewing in general for years and have endless experience that I could never dream of. There is no way to compare, there is no way to catch up, so why bother, right? Wrong! That is such an easy pit to fall into, and I have fallen since then. I have fallen based on seeing someone I thought was great, I've fallen because friends are doing something cool, it's so easy, but I have been working on myself and ways to get myself out really quickly before it consumes me and makes me feel all of that awful stuff again. So I'm going to share this with you, the way I go about it. Step 1, like their content. Whether it is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is you have seen this other person who's made you feel like that, who's made you feel jealous and like, oh God, they're so good, like it. Chuck a like on that immediately, because you know what that jealous feeling is telling you? It's telling you that you like it. You wish you were like that, so show them some love. So yeah, immediately I will hit like, put some good vibes out there in the world. I mean, after all, if you were that person, would you want other people to just never like your content because they feel a bit jealous of you? That's horrible. So share the love because they do deserve it. They've clearly worked hard. Step 2, move on from that content. So scroll past, close the app, go on something else, check out a friend's page, whatever it is, just go somewhere else. Whatever it is, just stop looking at it. I mean, seriously, what are you hoping is going to happen? The more you stare at it, the costume's going to fall apart, their viewer count's going to suddenly drop. Like, no good can come from obsessing. So just click away, look at something else for a bit. That whole out of sight, out of mind thing, yeah, they were onto something. It's true. Step 3. Okay, so I've shared some love and I've taken myself away from the thing that's making me feel a bit Next, I try to refocus my brain. I watch a comedy compilation, people falling over on YouTube. Always great. I sing along to the musicals that I love, I sketch, I take the dog for a walk. Something entirely unrelated to the thing that's making me feel the jealousy. Another story time. Quite recently actually, I was all kitted up in my Peter Pan cosplay, ready to start filming some commissions for some children's birthdays. And I was all ready to go, and I saw that one of the huge cosplayers had just started posting Peter Pan content on their profile. Like, hundreds of thousands of likes, loads of comments, beautiful costume, and I'll admit that threw me for a little bit. I just felt like that whole thing again, that I was jealous of the attention they were getting, I was jealous of the costume, despite loving mine, and I had to remind myself that I love this costume I've made, and they were not similar, they were very different costumes, and I think that was probably why it was different, and I was like, oh, is it better because it's different, you know? But I liked the content. I actually left a comment saying like, wow, this is amazing kind of thing. And I actually saved the audio because it was one that I'd been looking for a while but could never find. And yeah, so it actually helped me. But then I closed the app and I just gave myself a minute. I didn't take the cosplay off. I had things to do, I had commissions to film. I enjoy this character. I didn't let myself go down that route. I actually put on the Legally Blonde soundtrack and I just danced around, and by the time I'd got to the song So Much Better, ironically enough, I was feeling so much better, and I went on to film my commissions and I had a really good time. So yeah, just take yourself away from it, have a step back, and do something else. Focus on something else. Don't focus on that character. Maybe if you're sewing a cosplay and you see another cosplayer that makes you feel a bit, just set the cosplay down for a while. Set the needle down, just give yourself a minute, watch something, do something else, and just give yourself a minute. Step 4. Okay, so there is a step 4. I don't usually need it because steps 1, 2, and 3 are usually enough to just sort of get me out of the headspace and I'm fine, but step 4 is kind of important, and sometimes if I'm hit particularly hard, I do like to use step 4 as well because it helps me, and I hope it might help you guys too. I examine what it is I want to be doing in my own life. So usually when I start coming over all green-eyed monstery, it's because I feel like someone else is encroaching on my things or doing them better. Well, I take those feelings on board and I think about 2 main things. First, there really shouldn't be any of this, oh, this character is mine, this idea is mine, this cosplay is mine and only mine. That attitude can turn into gatekeeping super quick, and that is like the ugliest you could be. So what I do is I remind myself that if I was the only person doing this character, this costume, cosplay, the only person doing this particular thing, this idea, this audio, I would be super lonely. Think about it. If no one else liked this character enough to do content about them, then no one else would like my content. I would get no views, no love, no attention, no traction, nothing. So despite feeling that gut reaction, I try to overcome it by thinking about the fact that this character is amazing. Of course other people are going to do things, and that's absolutely fine. We should be encouraging and hyping each other up, sharing the love of this character, if nothing else, so we can all love on it together. So then I think about how I wish I was better and the best at what I'm doing, which is probably why I felt jealous to begin with, because I thought they were doing the character that I love, but doing it better than me. And how can I not feel like I suck? Well, by being the only person doing it. If I'm the only person doing it, then there's no competition, and then the whole spiral starts again with, well, other people are encroaching on my thing and I'm not the best at it, and sad, 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 jealous, angry, sad, sad. You get the point. Now, you want to get better? Well, there's only one way to get better, isn't there? You got to work at it. None of the people that I look up to and compare myself to got to where they are today without a great deal of work. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not on their level. And that is okay. I am a ways behind, a long ways behind, but I am on the same path. And it doesn't matter that they're so far ahead of me because I'm still on that road. I'm still getting better, one step at a time, my own time pace, my own way, and it is getting better. And more importantly, I'm enjoying it. Now, all this leads kind of nicely to what I wanted to talk about in terms of self-confidence. Now, I was that weird goth kid in high school. I still am that weird goth kid. Okay, I am that weird goth kid. I hid in the music department and played my bass instead of going to most of my lessons. I spent most of my time learning lines for drama or monologues for auditions, and the only place I ever actually felt confident was on stage. And even then, I was still constantly thinking how I could be better and I should be better and how I should be improving. I only really started to get a little bit comfortable off stage after I turned about 17. In the 2 years of doing A-levels, where I did drama and performing arts, I tried new things. I learned that I actually quite like dance and dancing and musical theatre. And I don't just like monologues, Shakespeare and drama. I tried new things and a whole new world was open to me and I went with it. I did have a really huge setback, kick in the guts to my confidence a few years ago, which I go into in my, I'll put it up here, the Why Molly Saved My Life video. If you want to learn that depressing story, it's up there, go watch. But after that, because this is a happy video, and that video does end on a positive note, promise. So since then, I have been on the up. Self-confidence doesn't come and stay by magic. Like everything else, it takes work. So to begin with, I faked it. I acted how I wanted to be and how I wanted other people to see me. I put on an act of the self-confident person that I wanted to portray to the world. And I realised I went Molly when I did that. Now, actually, I recommend it, honestly. Practice, think of how you want to be and try it. Little steps at first. Maybe reach out to other people first in a conversation. Do things by yourself. Anything. Post that video. Sing the song. Learn the dance routine. Anything that you really want to be doing. Just do it. Put yourself out there and try stuff. Eventually, I had everyone convinced. I had a whole new life with new people, and everyone was convinced that I was this amazing, confident, individual person. And then I realised that I had everyone tricked, and I had myself tricked as well. I had hoodwinked myself into becoming the confident person. It wasn't an act anymore. It was just me. It did take time and several bumps in the road to get there, but I am there now. I still do get self-conscious and uncertain sometimes, but now I know that that will never define me again, and it won't defeat me. I can be whatever I want. And so can you, person who is still watching this video. Thank you for sticking with me. Maybe you feel like you don't look right for a cosplay. Do it anyway. Cosplay isn't about looking perfect or canon. Cosplay is about enjoying the characters and the stories. And tell you what, I would rather watch someone who is enjoying themselves as a character and portraying them really well than someone who just looks perfect. Think you aren't good enough to do the thing? You are! Everyone is good enough to have a go at what they want to do. Try not to compare yourself with others, particularly people who've been doing it for a really long time. Instead, aspire to be like them one day. But for now, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, learn as much as you can, and have fun at the beginning. Maybe you are the 100,000th person to create content about a certain character. Maybe you don't feel special or unique. Maybe you worry you're just going to be another one of many. Well, you know what that means? It means you picked a great character. You will never be lacking in audio on TikTok. You will always be able to find inspiration in other people. You will very easily find tips on how to make that costume, and loads of people will be interested in your content. Alternatively, maybe you're worried that the costume you want to do is too niche. Maybe it's an OC or just a show or character not a lot of people have heard of. Well, same answer. Do it anyway. You can introduce other people to this thing they haven't heard of. And loads of us are happy to enjoy content, whether or not we understand where it's from. If it looks interesting, I'm there. As long as you are enjoying yourself, that's what's important. What I'm saying is that you are in control of what you do. No matter how you feel, do not let that define you. Don't let yourself suffer just because of a few bad thoughts. Remember, it's just a reaction. You can feel that way. It's what you do, not what you feel, that's important here. Feeling jealousy or insecure, that's okay. You can deal with it. As long as you don't let that bleed over and negatively affect other people and things in your life, it's fine and completely normal. Take some time, pick yourself up and carry on. Do what you love and love other people too. Put love into what you're doing and put love into the world. Then, eventually, you'll just be surrounded in love. And that has got to be the best feeling ever. Encourage your fellow creators, hype them up, and you will get hyped up yourself in return. Address the jealousy or the insecurity in yourself, whether it's over a stranger or even a friend. Remember, our world is far better when we share. If we welcome everyone into the space, we can create together. So love others, love what you do, and most importantly, love yourself. Thank you for listening to me ramble once again. If you would like to subscribe to me, please do. Chuck a like and a comment. Tell me the cosplays you would like to be doing. Tell me anything you want to chat. I don't care. If you'd like to watch a bunch of my other videos, there'll be some appearing on the screen, I expect. Oh yeah, and one other thing. Go do that thing you really want to do. You know you want to? Go do it. Okay, page 7, let's do this. Let's do this thing. Try and get Mean Girls musical into this page somehow. Okay.